Alexios, what are you wearing?
It's my Path of Night hoodie. Got the illuminated manuscript sweatshirt. Art by Jay Steele. It's very comfy.
You do look hot, Alexios.
Thank you. And you look great in your War of Ages crest hoodie. Really goes with the fangs.
What can I say? I accessorize well. Lex, you look hot in your classic Path of Night t-shirt, too.
If you want the matches, Path of Night sells these on our bonfire.com/store/path-of-night and use a code WOA10 for 10% off your purchase until April 15th. Unless you're an Elder supporter on our Ko-Fi, in that case, you should find a code to get 15% off at any time.
Path of Night, War of Ages is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages podcast set in the world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. Content warnings can be found in the show notes. We've talked at our table about safety, comfort, and consent both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect, we're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same. So listener discretion is advised. And so continues the War of Ages.
Last time on War of Ages. The Coterie met with Mitru and Mika and managed to establish a new alliance. Zorion spoke with Mitru, befriending the Gango prince and learning more about his circumstances.
After the gathering at the inn, Roland walks off, still deep in thought, and ends up near the stables in the town square where Viantu is tied up. And he's just quietly, thoughtfully just brushing his horse, almost unaware that Viantu's presence has made all the other horses shy as far as their leads will allow them to go away from him, and there are no other people around. And he just goes through the comforting motions of taking care of his horse for the night, and his eyes keep wandering back to the cross on top of the church steeple in town.
In the distance, there's the familiar thump-clunk of Saiv's staff. Might not even really ring as something out of the ordinary, even at this time of night, but it gets closer. She doesn't seem to want to break Roland from his meditation, seems appropriate, so she just sort of waits at the doorway of the stable until he's concluded.
Ordinarily, just hearing her approach, he would have been already attendant, trying to help her, because he knows walking is difficult for her. She gets shockingly close, and is there for longer than you'd expect before he suddenly seems to realize he's not alone. And he pulls his eyes from the cross and the church, gives Violante a final pat, and looks over. Saif, is anything amiss? What is wrong?
Nothing. We need to talk.
C'est vrai, we do.
Do you want to talk here?
He nods across the square where there's a couple like boxes and barrels to just sit down and take a seat, and he extends an arm out to her to help her walk like they usually do.
She takes it, as is custom, and she still walks with the aid of the staff, more just because she's not going to leave the staff anywhere, because his arm is more than supportive.
He walks her through the mud, now that the rain has stopped, to sit in the moonlight under the shadow of this church, and he just continues to stare at it instead of her for a little while, waiting for her to break the new silence that started.
She pulls her hood down and does the sort of thing that girls with long hair do, where they just kind of twist it all into one clump and starts twining it around her wrist as she waits for him to start talking. And then when she realizes he's waiting on her, she kind of smiles and gives a little sigh. You go. You've been quiet. And I was unkind. And I feel like I'm sorry. And I'm learning to hurt people in the wrong way.
I've been pensive, thoughtful, and if my silence has given you discomfort, you have my apologies.
It's given me worry.
Well, your behavior has caused me to worry as well. I have been trying to decide whether it is more worrisome if this recently has been out of character for you or not.
I wish I knew.
The things that were said, you understand why I would worry for you. For the integrity of who you are.
Roland, I truly don't know who I am. Who I am has changed so fast over the past few years. I was the same thing for so long. I learned and I developed knowledges, but who I was the same. And then in 2 years, I had to become something completely different overnight and then every day since.
What worries me, Saif, is your whole world has been torn asunder, tossed upside down in ways that you could not have wished, could not have imagined. But the constant for the last 2 years has been the integrity of your hope, your kindness, and just in the last few days, your words have become sharper, meant to hurt, and you have called for the blood and death of the helpless. And you know I do not speak lightly about the lives of usurpers. I do not care for them, but I care what praying for their blood does to you. It was not like you. Or maybe it was, and I have been blind to who you are for 2 years. I'm not sure. But I worry. I worry. And I worry that I cannot help you.
Why would you think that? That you can't help me? After all you've done and continue to do for me, why would you think you can't help me?
Because I did not swear an oath to protect you forever. I did not swear an oath to be your bodyguard or your guide. I swore an oath to teach you, to care for yourself, to protect you until you learn such lessons, and I lack the strength to teach you. I am not strong enough to teach you.
She kind of cocks her head and looks at him with her big blue eyes, and something crosses her mind for perhaps the first time. Roland, how many teachers have you had?
Throughout my life, or as a Canaanite?
Either.
Throughout my life, several, depending on what you consider a teacher. The night I was squire to my father, my mother. Since being a Canaanite, my sire. I've learned lessons from everywhere, but in terms of formal teachings, simply my sire. And his lessons were harsh, but they were necessary. And I lack the strength to teach you in the way he taught me. And for that you have my apologies. I am failing you.
How did he teach you?
For 2 years, I learned no lessons but how to control myself. To master my beast, that I was not a danger to myself and others.
How?
It depends. He's the one who taught me chess. And to master my tempers, he would frustrate me, strike me unexpectedly, and then I would frenzy, and he would do this again and again until I would not, and I had mastered my beast. For something as simple as fear, he surrounded me with hay and lit it aflame. This sort of thing.
Saif's face twists with the memory of being surrounded by fire.
And he would do these things again until my beast was leashed in a way where I knew I was not a danger to others. Once, he told me that the curses of the Brura are... Each of the bloodlines has a curse, and when Brura, our passions run close to the surface. And that it was also very dangerous if we were to let them out. So we needed to know how to master them even better than any others. And he would not end my accounting. He would not even begin to teach me the lessons necessary other than to keep control of myself until I was mastered. Until I was not a danger to myself or everyone around me, until I could feed without gorging on blood, until I could walk in the town square without fleeing at the sight of a torch, until I could be stricken on the battlefield without flying into a frenzy and killing friend and enemy alike. Important lessons. Harsh, but important. And I apologize to you that I cannot teach you the same way.
Don't.
But I am failing you. Saif, it has been 2 years and I don't know what lessons I have even taught you.
You've taught me that I matter. You've taught me that what I bring to the world is more important than learning as your sire taught you.
But these are not lessons I swore an oath to teach you.
How are they not?
Because whether or not we matter is whether... That is up to us, each of us, individually. Whether we matter or not is irrelevant. I am to teach you to survive.
What are we, other than whether we believe we matter or not? What is it that survives?
We do. We keep going forward, we try and make changes in the world, but we cannot master the world around us until we master ourselves. And I am failing in teaching you to do this. I am hopeful that now that we have others, now that we may be able to breathe, now that we are not running night to night, well, that I am hopefully not in a position where I have to quietly kill any who find out your secrets. That maybe others can teach you lessons that I am too weak to teach you.
It's not weakness to hold your hand, Roland.
It is if the lesson is one between life and death. It is not a kindness if I do not raise a hand and you die because of it.
I'll tell you now, if you raised a hand to me, all you would do is build a wall of mistrust. And you know that.
Perhaps mistrust is the price of keeping you alive. I don't know.
I wouldn't learn.
Well,
I would double down on my stubbornness and you would end up killing me.
I thought the same thing too. But I learned my lessons. And I have learned those lessons well enough to know I would not kill you. But it's irrelevant, Saif. Something about you keeps me from raising my hand anyways. I apologize to you for failing, and I am trying my best. You ask why I have been so quiet. I have been considering whether it is best for you if you release me from my oath to you. I swore a promise to everyone here to this new coterie, but I have sworn an oath to your sire and you on your behalf, and I will always uphold that. But you have the power to release me from such thing.
Sadhbh sits for a minute with her hair still twined around her wrist, combing her very short fingernails through it, where she's bitten them down to the nubs. I was a ghoul for 11 years, Roland. I was 8 years old for 11 years.
This I recall.
I had so many wonderful teachers at the Grove. I had all my aunties. I had the other ghouls, including the man I called my father. They all taught me in different ways. Some of them were harsh, some of them were extremely gentle. Some of them didn't dare come near me because they were afraid what they might do. I could more than protect myself until the wicked man came. And I was powerless. And they all died. Horribly. I watched my own mam have her head pulled clean off while she was telling me to run. Because even she knew that it wasn't potence or celerity that was going to save me. There's no point. If something wants to kill you, it's gonna kill you. My beast doesn't want to learn, because my mind knows there's no point.
See, this is what I wish to talk to you about. This is putting aside the cruelty of ghouling a child.
It wasn't cruel.
A conversation for another time, perhaps. I don't wish to fight on this now, but I'm not asking you to learn potence. I'm not asking you even to learn to fight, but to survive. Running, hiding, these are survivals. Things that, if I could teach you anything, it's to hold your temper, to master your emotions and your mind.
I've done better at that, you have to admit, since that slave marketing pest.
I don't think I do.
I haven't frenzied on anyone since then, and I've had plenty of reason to.
You have not frenzied. But Sadhbh has lashed out.
Of course.
And that is more of what I speak.
But it's been my choice. And that means it's in my control.
I don't know if that's better or worse, because you are choosing then not to control it.
Right, because if I don't let it out somehow, I'm not there yet. I didn't say I'm perfect. I said I'm better. If I let out a bit of it here and there, then I'm not going to have it all explode at once. And eventually, I'm going to get to the point where I don't need to vent it.
No, you will never get to that point.
Well, probably not.
I still have to vent it. It's more about...
Then don't hold me to an impossible standard.
I'm not. I'm just saying I think the thing that would be good to learn, something to think on, is when and when it is not appropriate, and when you are lashing out to hurt. I will use a very benign example.
Of course.
When you were speaking with Zorion, after the attack on the road in the tent, you asked him to give you privacy. Now, there was a misunderstanding between privacy and secrecy, yes?
Apparently.
Misunderstandings happen, miscommunications. None of us share a base language in common. However, why did you then ask him, demand a kindness from him in return for having given him the guitar? And I ask you this not because I want to revisit much of the past, this is a very benign example, but did you give him the guitar because you wanted to do a kindness because you are Sadhbh, or did you do it because you wanted to get something from Zorion?
Because I wanted to do a kindness for him because I'm Sadhbh.
And then you demanded recompense for doing a kindness. Kindness is done
because
for kindness' sake.
Forgot that I cared about him.
That is not how it came across.
Well, then I need to work on that too.
We are Canaanites, Sadhbh. We are manipulative. This is what we are. But...
And this is why I hate pretending, because...
But if you cannot fight, and you hate to run, pretending is just hiding but in public. You have to pick one. I pick fight. And hide. You know this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I am capable of running. Find what you are not capable of, excise it from your mind, and focus on the other two.
I don't think that's all there is.
That has been my experience.
I know.
Look, My sire, agree with his teaching methods or not, would often posit me experiments, thoughts, things to consider while I labored lifting stones or felling trees. He would set me to a task, repetitive and brutal, but he would give me something to think of. I'm not going to send you on a brutal task, but perhaps the experiment of thought could be helpful. If you say that learning in different ways, I have to, unless you are releasing me. And he turns from looking at the church to look directly at her.
Do you want me to?
That is not the question in play.
It is now.
Answer mine first, and then I will answer yours.
I don't have to.
Very well, then these will go unanswered. Here is my question to you. You say that your beast abhors violence.
It does.
I posit that it does not. When we were in Pest, I had to restrain you, or your beast, in frenzy when it took control of you, wanted to rip and tear with fang and nail those it was offended by. That is not your beast shirking away from violence.
Even prey animals fight when they're frightened.
You were not frightened, you were enraged. Your beast does not abhor violence, Saïv. Saïv abhors violence.
Saïv does not abhor violence.
She does, because she asked me to do it in her stead.
Why are you arguing with me about what I feel?
I'm asking you to think, to really reflect on your relationship. You cry for the blood of the usurper, but you expect the rest of us to do it. You say your beast is what does not like violence, but your beast craves the death of those it is offended by.
It is not my beast that craves its death.
I watched it. I watched it happen. I held you screaming in your arms, and that was not you, that was your beast. When our beast takes control, it is not us. It is an alien, monstrous force that rides our flesh.
Sure, Roland. You've made up your mind about what I think about this.
I'm asking you to consider it.
And I have told you what I've considered it. Do you think I just sit here and don't think things all
I
day?
am not doing what my sire has done 1,000 times, but I am going to say to you, if you have an answer immediately, you have not thought of it. You have not considered. I just want you to think, to look at the evidence before you.
I want you to consider the idea that we are more than just what we believe about the beast.
We are ourselves, and our beast is the beast, and we keep our beasts in check. That is every path that Gain has set before us that we walk, is to keep the beast in check. It is a curse. It is not us.
The beast is just another part of us that we don't want to kowtow to.
Perhaps you have a different experience with the beast than I.
I do.
When the beast takes control of me, it is not me. And I can promise you this. The curses of our bloodlines are all different, but the beast is the same for us all.
It's not. And it might be a semantic argument. It might be a philosophical debate for another time.
That is all I'm asking you to consider. Think of this then as a philosophical debate. Think on it for a time, and we can talk on it another time.
I have no need to debate this in my mind, Roland.
I'm asking you to learn. As the teacher, you will not get rid of. So please consider it. And if at the end of lengthy consideration you think I am a fool, then you think I am a fool.
I never said I thought you were a fool,
I am just
Roland.
asking you to think on it for the future. As a student.
The beast is not just a curse that we're born with, Roland.
Of course it is. Why do you think the path to Gokanda exists? To escape the beast. All of us, anyone who searches for any meaning, all of us are trying to suppress it, to keep it away.
Do you think that the Salubri just sit and pontificate about this like it's nothing?
I think your beasts act the same as all of us. It wants only to feed and kill and run. You are not special in regards to your beast. It is killing all of us at all times. Why will you not listen to me?
Because you're spouting a bunch of bullshit.
Is it?
It is.
Listen to your own mouth.
Why would I? I'm with my own mind,
Because
Roland.
you need to listen to someone, and it's certainly not me.
I'm gonna do something really weird. Rob, make me a frenzy check. I'm not Lex, but she just told you your beast is bullshit. Break something.
I have one success. For just a second, the beast rises up in Roland, his fangs distend, and a hand gripping the side of the bench crumbles to dust and splinters. And then Roland is on his feet, looking at her, still enraged, but not within arm's reach.
Sadhbh has nowhere near as fast. Her face twists with panic as she realizes that Roland has come that close. And she uses her staff to stand and back away from him.
Roland is in control of his beast. He has locked the cage around his heart that it lives in, and he points angrily at the broken bench, not even pretending he didn't do it, caught up in the moment, and goes,
That is not me! It can't be! You need to think! You need to learn! Because what we do hurts people! This is why the lessons are hard!
I hurt people long before I had a beast, Roland. I hurt people long before my soul was split in half.
As did I! But it's different, and you have to acknowledge that it is different!
Not if I don't ever learn how. Not if I can't hurt anyone, Roland.
You are learning. You will learn because you cannot die.
Why?
I have sworn it!
Then do you want this or not, Roland? Do you want this oath or not?
Do not ask me that.
Why? If we're asking questions, if we're asking hard questions that require thought.
I have sworn 3 oaths in my life without thinking. 3. I have sworn them because it is what my heart told me to do, and they have all ended in ruin, except for you. So far. But I am failing in this one.
It's not ended yet, Roland.
What am I to do? I cannot teach you what needs to be taught.
Sadhbh takes a step closer to him.
He takes a step back, but for her full step, his is a half step. Like, he doesn't want to, but he's afraid of taking a step forward. In the time that they've been together, Roland has never really shown overt fear. But there is no way that Sadhbh is as perceptive as she is and has spent as much time with him as she is, that she would not recognize that most of his fear is turned within.
We are the monsters we choose to be, Roland. You are not a monster. You are not your teacher. You don't want to break me to make me better. You don't want to make me obedient. You want me to learn.
The question I ask myself every night is whether or not by giving you what you wish, I am denying you what you need. The world is cruel. It will come for you. And I will not always be there. And when it comes for you, what happens when I am not?
I don't foresee a world with me in it without you, Roland.
You must. Someday I will fall.
So will I. Everything does.
So you must. You have to imagine what life is like without me. Because I will not always be there. And there are things that you wish and that you need that I cannot give you.
She takes another step towards him. I'm not going to ask anything that you're not willing to give. And all I want for you right now, I just want you to stay. I just want you to keep being the kind man that your sire couldn't quite get rid of.
Kindness kills everyone I love. What am I doing to you?
You're a lifeline, Roland.
Roland has ceased taking steps backwards, but at this point they're kind of sitting in the middle of the square.
Roland, the only way I know who I am is when I'm with you. The only time I'm real to myself is when I'm with you.
Then here we are back at the beginning. You need to learn. We need to find who you are. Sans me.
Well, I don't want to release you yet. But I don't want you to think you have to stay. So tell me, because I don't want this to be one-sided. I want us to be a team. I want us to be partnership. I don't want this idea that all we can ever be is one above the other. Me holding the reins of power, you being the teacher, and me being the student.
It's the oath I swore, Saif.
And then you gave me the power.
So, what are you asking? Are you releasing me just to swear a new oath?
I'm asking you if you want to stay. If you want to stay being my teacher. That's up to you. Do you want me, Roland?
Roland steps forward until they are touching toe to toe, looks down on her, and a deep part of Roland is moments from pulling her into his embrace, and then something of the oathful night reasserts itself over what maybe was the human Roland, and he takes half a step back so that they are still close but more normal distance apart. His chest is heaving with breaths he doesn't need to take. Quietly, but Saif is very perceptive. Roland says to himself, like he's stealing himself, I swore an oath to you. And he is not talking to Saif when he says that. And then looks back up at Saif and goes, we should get out of the square. It is beginning to rain.
She'll just kind of watch him as he seems to come apart at the seams for a minute. And she'll quietly reach out and put her hand on his shoulder, chastely, and just look at him. It's all right. Go if you need to go. I'll be here.
With the rote social armor that he often takes up in court, he bows to her and says, by your leave, my lady. And he walks off.
Catrinel has spent some time setting about the business of getting everything settled, everyone supplied, and things into motion. And once it seems that people are receiving their hard-earned meals and getting what they need in order to spend the night and the day, she finds herself at the conclusion of her conversation. She turns away from the leader of her handmaidens, Tamiris, a woman who doesn't look dissimilar from Catrinel in certain lights. Carpathian woman, the one that Catrinel has delegated most to and sent people off to various tasks in communication with her. There's satisfaction in Catrinel's eyes and almost a sense like she's glad to be getting back to these skills as she turns, finally ready to abandon her responsibilities as they are right and set.
Standing across the street, waiting for her to finish up everything, apparently, is Alexios, sitting there kind of just casually tossing an apple, like he's been there the whole time, and he gives a little wave as soon as she turns around.
Catrinel quirks an eyebrow, almost in that same exact motion as the eyebrow lifts, tilting her head, like the eyebrow is drawn up by a string tilting her face. And her eyes fall to the apple, but with a smile on her face that purposefully bears the fangs. You know that she is doing it on with everything surrounding her and the invasive scent of garlic and everything that's gone on. You know that she is just letting those fangs be a bit more out and about than she might normally. She smiles at you and walks over.
Successful day? Or night, I guess?
I believe so. Hopefully this will mean that we've demonstrated this edge of our capabilities to Mitru. And I like to think that it's good practice for when we one day need it.
He doesn't seem like a guy really concerned with the whole supplies part of things.
He would not necessarily need to be. I'm sure it is deeply, deeply important to not let his people starve the winter here.
Probably not. But
there is more to it than that to thrive.
Yeah, it seemed very interesting from my vantage. Talking to a bunch of people, getting a bunch of stuff.
Well, certainly you're good at the talking to people part.
Depends on the day.
Is that something you like doing?
Talking to people?
Or is it just part of the face you present?
Alexios was always very affable, from everything that I've heard.
Sure, but that's him, is it?
I mean, to some degree, it's also me at this point. It gets pretty blurry, and on top of all of my training, it tends to bleed. It's like wearing a big coat in some ways, right? It starts to change how you move and do things and how you perceive everything around you.
Do you like that? Blurring into someone else? Doesn't it make you miss you?
No, I don't need to miss that. That part of my life is done. The part before I was the moon is over. So, and now this is what I'm doing. And in many ways, Alexios is much more, and he kind of puts his head, waves his head back and forth. He's thinking it's more fun. He's generally having a better time with undeath than I was. And I've come to enjoy the difference.
I have this impression of you. And you can tell me if I've got you wrong. But I get this idea that you're someone who is very steady in yourself. Someone who adheres very strongly to the values that you espouse and can't really be swayed from what it is that you seek. Is that true? Or is that false?
I don't know if it's been tested much. I have spent much of my time as a Canaanite training, preparing, learning.
But you are a dedicated warrior of your god, yes?
Warrior might be a strong word.
What other word should I use?
Killer.
Does that bother you?
Not so much, but there is a inherent nobleness to warriors.
And you dislike it?
I don't dislike it, it's just not what I do. I don't fight fair. I don't give them opportunities to kill me. That's not what I'm here to do.
False virtue lacks in importance.
There is parts of me that wish that I could go out there and call out my enemies and fight them in the moonlight, testing our skill against each other. But this feels like the fantasies of most men. But it's not the reality when you deal with people who will twist everything and take everything, leaving nothing. They will use everything they can against you, and they have no morals of their own. So, while I do have mine, I cannot be so direct.
So direct in your morals.
Yeah, direct in my morals and my methods.
And who you are.
That is part of the job, too. It's my job to leave Egypt and do what many of my order cannot.
You have to understand that this reveal would make anyone curious about you.
No, for sure. But I also understand that you, too, are not necessarily playing everything straight.
What do you mean by that? And she says it, and she's just grinning. This is not even necessarily coy. She's just saying it because it tastes nice.
Maybe it's just the kindred spirit in all of this. Possibly why our paths were fated to cross first, but it feels very much that you too will play the roles that you're presented.
I suppose it's like this. When you face an accusation, there's two ways of handling it. Denying it, or agreeing with it. And being as I am, I think you've seen already that I am to face many accusations. And I happen to really like agreeing with them.
So playing the role. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not, but who are you to say?
So many times in unlife, we're playing roles. Most of them aren't any fun. And that's fine. Fun is, well, pleasure's always important. But it's, I suppose if I think people are worthy of my sincerity, they'll have to deal with this.
I'm not sure I know what that means, but I'm hopefully worthy of her sincerity.
I think you are.
But what are you trying to get out of all this? You're here on some behest of your sire who owes someone else a favor.
I would do quite a number of things for my sire. When she found me, she took me away from the horrors of my situation. And I will always be grateful for that. She has put me here, and I have agreed to certain objectives, and ultimately, well, who's to say what ultimately the purpose is?
Yeah, but we're not talking purpose. You've said a lot of things about doing things that you've agreed to and everything else, but what are you wanting to do?
When I was revenant, I had a path laid out before me. One that gave me the skills I have now, the skills that I show today. I much prefer showing them today, under my own control and my own volition. But when I was breathing, my role, it had a little bit of debate to it, which would end up more important to be a descendant of the Basarab and a tool in their machinations? Or would it be to be a noble daughter and to be a tool of marriage and trade and alliance? Well, ultimately, becoming Canaanite gave me the freedom to be more than either path. And that's what I want to do, is explore what that means. I'm finally free. I'm free to argue. I'm free to explore. I'm free to find pleasure and truth. And while that's not quite as cement as killing snakes, I happen to enjoy it.
I'm not limited to snakes.
Yes, it seems that you would assassinate a great variety.
There are many people who don't necessarily deserve to walk around anymore.
I would agree with that.
Does your god decide that? Saeed kind of peeks around a corner where she may have been listening an untold amount of time.
What do you look like at this moment? You're coming in.
Saeed still has her hair twisted over one shoulder. She's still playing with it. Her face is a weird mask of curiosity for having listened, and just this kind of unnameable blend of frustration, sorrow, and confusion.
I thought it was our friend here's job to sneak up on people.
I'm not that sneaky.
She's not. But no, he does not tell me who to kill or who not to kill. But he does weigh them. And weigh their hearts. As he will mine when this all runs its course. And I hope that the good that I do will balance out the evil that I have to commit.
What's he weighed against?
A feather.
You know, that's true. Now that Saeed has joined us, here we have the pagans, the non-believers, those wretched whose souls have not been shepherded in this coterie.
I mean, I believe in a lot of things. I just don't think the servants of the nailed god have been doing a great job recently.
Servants of the nailed god?
Yeah, most of them don't seem to be terribly Christian to me.
What does that word mean to you?
Those are the ones that follow the rules of their own book, the Bible, the kindness and protecting the weak and, giving away their money and all that. The ones that don't hold any power anymore because they're actually good people.
Well, I can attest, according to the church, me ma'am and the man she had me by weren't married. He was a drunk. He really, on his more sober days, he would read a couple handwritten pages of the gospel that we had in the house. He'd read them out loud to me. I do know some scripture. And on the bad days, he was bad. And when he was bad to me, my mom killed him and we went to live in the woods.
I do want to have a further discussion. Learn more about your gods, your practices. Perhaps even share about my own, but Saeed, you jumped rather quickly to sadness. Are you alright? Is that darkness still hounding you?
I don't think it's ever gonna go away.
Sure, but is that the current cloud above your head?
No.
Something you want to discuss or something you'd rather skip?
I don't rightly know. I think it's better to let it lie for now.
We can continue on. Catrinel was just telling us how she loves freedom above everything else.
Well, you ask me about my goals, and even in my path, we don't really value pursuing material gain at the expense of higher concerns. I know it can be sometimes too literal.
Okay.
It's difficult to talk about goals when there's so much left to learn.
Well, from my understanding, there's always things to learn, but isn't the goal to learn things?
What did you just say exactly?
Exactly. I don't know. Look, I'm just saying that that's a goal then, isn't it? To learn things? What things are you looking to learn?
I find I tend to take the world as I encounter it, and discover whether or not I need to fight with it. Whether there are those that need assistance fighting with it, or finding a new side of it, something that they didn't see before. It's part of what I like about the path that I've chosen. It's the idea of existing purely for yourself, and by virtue helping others to exist for themselves and seek their own freedoms.
Okay, it still sounds pretty vague to me, but...
My gods don't give me specific instructions.
I still have things, my god, that I want to do that my god doesn't tell me to do. And more often than not, he doesn't tell me to do much of anything.
I'm not terribly bothered by vague. My faith, it recognizes interconnectedness. How the celestial, the earthly, the subterranean realms influence the earthly realm itself. We see in our eyes Gods, deities, ancestors, everything coming together. It's abstract when I would try to speak of who my god is. Tengri. I could call him a sky deity. I could call him an embodiment of heaven. But that wouldn't be the full limit of it, nor would it take power away from any of the other gods in the pantheon.
Alexios looks over at Saeed and goes, "She's trying to tell us she's a priestess?"
No.
I think just devout, but I mean, my goddess isn't easy to nail down what she represents either. She's not always one goddess either. In the same way, Alexios, that you follow your god, I follow Namarigna. Some a breed because she's a healer, but she's also a blacksmith and forges weapons of war. So none of our gods are very subtle or simple, but Namarigna is specifically a triad goddess, and lately it's been Naveen that's been sitting on my shoulder, the one of war, frenzy, and causing terror.
She's pursuing you or influencing you?
Influencing me. And I don't know why. I think because I'm angry. I think because I'm confused. And I think she's letting me be that. And I think when she moves on, Maka will come back. That's usually who I'm influenced by. I don't try to pretend that I understand the whims of gods. But my path and what the gods want, I don't know how to explain, really. I've never really not followed the path that I'm on, even when I was mortal.
Knowing what gods want seems like a foolhardy thing.
Even you would say that. When I speak of my spirits, I speak of being surrounded in all aspects. Nature and animals, ancestors and their power upon this earth and other realms. But when you speak, you get to speak more specifically.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean he's any more knowable. He is a being of such immense presence that it... And I've been to the realm that he exists in. I could not even imagine his effect in our world. It was...
What realm does he exist in?
the realm of the dead. He shepherds the souls and he weighs them, setting them on their path for the afterlife. He has a few other roles, but that's the major one.
That's one of Namarigna's.
Do you believe our gods know each other?
I'm sure they do.
Imagine they know of each other, but their existences may not cross.
That's perhaps the sort of thing that I take interest in as Cainite. The gift that my sire gave me. It delves into secrets of the world, and I like knowing. I like knowing what's there to believe in, and what's there to guard, what's of true value and what's of truth inherently.
For the sake of knowing?
Perhaps. What else is there to do?
Knowledge for its own sake is a thing. I don't know. I've not had a lot of time to pursue that.
Well, you don't exactly seem the type to proselytize.
No, I feel no need to. Well, for many reasons, I don't bring out my god very often.
And despite her vicious temperament, you've made no attempt to recruit. And Catrinel is nodding at Saeed when she says vicious temperament.
I myself was recruited, but it was for a specific purpose. I don't think it happens often. And my purpose was to move on beyond the lands of Egypt, to do more than our people could by staying in that land.
I think we all were, in some capacity, meant to meet. I think we are guided by our gods, by our paths, and how they all intertwine. And I imagine now that we know a higher power, being Cainite, we'll get to see where that goes. Zorion has his aspirations to seek vengeance for the murder of Zilla. We have come together to shape this land and those that come after us.
You were all brought together for that.
You're here too.
I wasn't sent.
You're here.
Technically, neither was I.
All right, that's a fair call.
But we are here, and I guess we're going to be doing some stuff. So, gotta figure out what that means.
I really don't know.
We'll find out together.
What would you like it to mean? What would you like to do?
I would like to figure out how to be who I am publicly without a world trying to kill me for it. I don't like duplicitousness.
Why not? It's fun.
It's not fun for me.
Why not?
Because I don't enjoy it.
Have you tried?
It's not fun for me.
I understand. It's just... it can be nice.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, try it.
I don't want to. I don't enjoy it.
Not even in some small way.
Not really.
It means something different when you're forced to do it.
Sure.
It's satisfying to live another day, I guess.
We have to use the tools that we have, and they're not always satisfying. But for now, unless you, remove the major problem to that, it seems to be your future for at least a little while.
And now you have company in hiding.
That I do.
And the two of you have much in common.
Which is nice.
Perhaps Alexios can teach you how to take joy in a new identity. He seems to have fun lying.
I don't even really have a one.
I mean, it's all about, with this one, I'm kind of portraying somebody that already existed, so there's some, things that I do, but I've come to enjoy those. But it's about figuring out what you want to be, and then being it.
I went from being an 8-year-old child bound up in a wagon to being a 19-year-old woman bound up in a wagon in the span of about a week. I don't know who I am.
So it sounds like that's what you're trying to do.
Right.
Okay.
And I don't know how to be that amidst trying to hide who I am, amidst grieving my family, amidst being told everything I do is wrong, amidst being a wretched disappointment to my sire. I'm sorry, I'm getting sad again.
You are. But I like seeing you get mad as well.
I'm frustrated is what I am.
Clearly these things are on your mind, and they're on your mind a good reason. They'll guide you. They'll help you figure out who you are. You won't do it unless you face it.
Face what?
The sadness. The anger. You are railing against something. Resistance is a form of identity.
I suppose it can be. It's not what I want, though.
There's no rush. Once we stop traveling, you'll have some time to settle, to figure things out. These are all questions that we've come to one degree or another, and unfortunately you just haven't had the time with it yet. Don't let it beat you up. Just take it one day at a time.
I'm trying.
Even if you can't enjoy anything about hiding and not getting to be so outward about who you are, maybe then the first step is finding out how to have fun.
And I love playing my music.
I love hearing your music.
It's hard to play the music when we're getting ambushed by fire and traveling on the road, but now that we're stopped, it might be good to get it out again.
You should do so.
Traveling is tough. It's always one change after another in the most boring way possible sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're the head horse, the view never changes.
Please, Saif, give us some music. Give us something that you enjoy. We can keep talking of faith and destiny, but I want to see you in the way that you light up when you're actually doing something that you want to.
Saif kind of gives a nod, and she'll take the Bowron off her hip because it never really leaves. And she finds somewhere to sit and put her leg up so she can hold the bow around correctly. And she just starts thumping out a little tune, little rhythm. And there is something about her that relaxes. It might not even be something she recognizes, but there is a calm.
Alexios will put his hand out, offering it to Catrinel,
She'll take it.
and start doing simple dances to the beat of Saiv's drum.
Catrinel shares a smile with Alexios, letting him lead.
And Saeed will start singing so that they have more than a beat to accompany them.
As Roland's walking away and moving through the various caravans from both Zorion's entourage and Vikos's entourage, he looks up and catches view of Zorion standing on the stout walls that are surrounding Cluj. He appears to just be looking over everything, kind of taking an assessment of all of his men and wagons and the city itself. His eyes have locked on Roland, and you see he kind of just makes a gesture for him to join him on the wall.
Roland, walking in no clear direction, takes the opportunity to have a place to be and will find the route up to mount the wall beside Zorion.
You are rather loud when you want to be. I could hear the shouting from the stables all the way here on the wall.
Could you discern the words?
I did not pay attention.
Good. I apologize for the volume of my voice.
Why?
Because we are not in the middle of nowhere, and some of the Gain are attempting to sleep.
I would disagree. Cluj may as well be in the middle of nowhere.
On that, I suppose we could agree. You know, it would be impolite to say so in front of Prince Mitru.
I as much said so directly to him, and I will continue to do so. I like Mitru very much, but he is the prince of a pile of stones. He needs to be more than that.
And you are going to advise him and such?
If he will take my advisement, yes.
And is he?
We will see. He seems intrigued by some of the things I have said to him. I do not think he has the imagination for being a true prince, but perhaps I can awaken something for him. If he wants the people here to flourish, he can make that happen. If he also wants to protect the land, it is not mutually exclusive. This can also happen.
From what he was saying, I suppose his sire may take a different approach to viewing such a problem.
My sire warned me of Arnulf. His host will be a threat to this land, including to Huta Pass. It is in our own interest to make sure that Mitru is a staunch ally, and that his lands are powerful.
Well, it seems as though you have already begun to attempt to would you say, form these alliances?
We are laying groundwork. What has you so worked up? Why with all the shouting?
Differences of opinion regarding subjects such as learning and the nature of the beast. Let us say that.
So an argument with Saïv.
Neither the first nor likely the last, although each time I pray it will be. This one was more charged than most.
Are all of the Irish so volatile?
If I meet another one, I will let you know.
I will say, there is something wild in your eyes that reminds me that you are in fact Brujah. I think it is becoming on you.
If you say so, I work very hard to keep it in check.
Yes, but these French niceties you carry with you are...
They are chains that lash the beast and very little more.
They are an anchor around your leg that drags you down into the depths. Free yourself of this burden. Be who you are meant to be.
The last time I freed myself of such burden and allowed myself to live without the constraints of these formalities, I left no survivors.
The last time I saw you free yourself of these burdens, you killed a gargoyle.
That was
single-handedly.
That was not me free of burdens, although I will admit the fire of battle and the motions of the blade leave very little room for the rest of the thoughts screaming in my mind. It is why I care for battle so much. It is why I send myself to these tournaments in their lack.
Zorion rolls his eyes. These tournaments is sport, play.
What do you think sport is, Zorion?
Sport? Hunting. Riding out with your friends to find a boar or some game. Stag to bring back. Riding to a pile of tents to perform at combat in front of stands of admirers. This is sport.
It is not performance.
Is it not?
You are using the same skills, just in a different manner. Besides, I have always found it somewhat convenient to play at being nothing more than a sportsman, let us say.
Forgive me, I did not realize that the lances were war lances. I did not realize that striking out at your opponent's horse was allowed.
It's not.
You should have told that to the sheriff. He seemed to disagree.
Did he attempt to strike at Violentieux? I was a bit focused on striking him from his saddle.
Were you not aware? In the last tilt, he was aiming his lance to strike at Violentieux.
I knew the man had no honor, but that is beneath what I had expected, even from a Ventrue.
In battle, there is no such rule.
I am aware of what it is like to fight in a battle.
You are, but you put such a prize on these tournaments. Why?
Because they are reinforcements of the chains that helped me bind the beast. Because they are a way to win favor, and because many princes love them, and there is, you must admit, a satisfaction into riding into the domain of a prince who hates you, besting his champions and forcing him to give you his boons.
He smiles at that. There is something to be said for that.
Every prince at every tournament sets their own rules, changes how the tournaments are played in favor of their own knights, and I do admit I take a certain satisfaction in looking at the rules laid before me and using nothing but skill to crush them anyways.
But my friend, I am going to admit something to you. You are perhaps the greatest knight I have ever seen ride. And I hate you for it.
Pourquoi?
Once upon a time, I wanted to be a knight like you. And I saw a bit too much of what war and violence does to men. And I was not quite good enough to escape that unscathed.
Roland's eyes flick to your hand and also to where your sword is kept at your side.
My time in war was enough to perk the interest of those who wanted me for other battles. You are still that shining example of knighthood that I wanted to be as a boy. It is jealousy.
There is nothing saying you could not be. This, and he waves a hand at himself, this is a choice I must make every day.
Knowledge of the world has informed me that, as noble as your dreams are, it is naivete.
I am not unfamiliar with naivete. I too lay in the battlefield with a spear in my gut, bleeding my life on the ground. Is it naivete to choose to pick up a mantle and walk forward with it? Let me ask you, Zorion, if I may, since we are talking of battles.
Please.
There are likely more in our future, and you show yourself as a capable commander, at least along the roads, but is there a reason you will not pick up an unbroken blade that would serve you better in said battles?
He kind of sadly smiles at that, looks down at his sword, and pulls the blade out to inspect it, and then just kind of casually flips it around in his hand and holds the handle out to you so you can hold the blade and inspect it.
Roland takes it and looks it over with the practiced eye of someone who has probably gone through dozens of swords in his life.
Can you smell it?
I smell only iron.
Closer.
Roland picks up the blade and just really inspects it close to his face, sniffs along some of the pock marks.
There's probably no trace of blood left on the blade, but there's this kind of weird mania in Zorion's eyes when he kind of pushes you to smell it.
I'm sorry, my friend, I smell nothing but broken iron.
Have you ever heard of the tale of the Black Lion of Acre? So Zorion actually has a flaw on his sheet. He has infamous.
What would I have heard?
The Black Lion of Acre was one of Richard the Lionheart's knights who actually wore Richard's crest as his heraldry, but with a sable lion instead of a red lion. He was known to be a violent and ultimately butcher of a man, earning a black reputation at the Siege of Acre.
The tales I have heard of the Black Lion are tales of butchery and
They are well
barbarism.
earned tales of butchery.
Roland leans back and cocks an eye at Zorion like he's looking at him for a second time.
If you go to my caravan and through my possessions and find my arms and armor, you will find a shield with a sable lion, the same that I bore at the Siege of Acre, that I earned the title of the Black Lion. When we took the city, me and my company were put in charge of the prisoners. I do not remember how many there were. If you ask Diego, he will give you the number. It was about 3,000 men. We were holding them for negotiations. And when things took too long, the order was given to me to behead all 3,000 men. I was already beginning to tire of the bloodshed. But when that order came, I broke a little. And in some foolish act of rebellion, I set out to conduct the business myself. I cannot remember at what point, but eventually my shoulder started to wear out, and eventually my blade snapped, and soon I was beheading men with 5 or 6 strokes, not one. At some point, Diego, Ambrose, Dario, the others, they stepped in to make sure that it was concluded. But I do not remember. We worked from dawn until dusk to make sure it was done. That blade you hold, it is coated with the blood of I do not know how many men.
And you carry it still for what? Penance?
I am not sure. Perhaps a poetic part of me, perhaps penance. I don't think God has room in his merciful heart to forgive such an act of a man. But then again, I am no longer a man, am I?
No. I don't suppose either of us are.
The most charitable part of my soul insists that part of the plan was to forge a being that saw these horrors, understood them, and then has been transformed into a Cainite to conduct a new kind of crusade.
The harshest lessons, the hottest forges, they forge the most useful steel. This is what I have learned. I suppose the same could be true for you.
If I am being truthful, I think all of this is naivete. Only time will bear out whether any of this is true. But I am not an optimistic man, Roland. I am a pragmatic one.
I think every Cainite, in my experience, must ask themselves the question at least once over the years why they do not simply awake to the sun. Sometimes we struggle with that answer. I know mine. I know why I keep moving forward.
Do not mistake me, Roland. I have no wish to end this on life so ignominiously.
But did you ever ask the question?
Never.
I find that hard to believe. But I will have to take your word for it. I have been learning lessons myself this evening on the assumptions that we make.
When I left the Holy Land, with my soul so tainted, and my body crippled, all at my sire's machination, he found me in Cyprus, dumbly strumming at my guitar with my stump, drunk and still eager to live whatever life was ahead of me. He knew he had picked correctly. That is why I was embraced. I can be horrified with the things I have done. But I will not take my life and cast it aside, no matter what. Even if I deserved it. Both of these things are true.
I am not one to judge. He hands the sword back.
Zorion puts it away. I think you need to stop playing at this tournament night business. If you need to win a tournament to make a Ventru prince upset, so be it. But you need to be the champion of all battlefields.
Do not mistake me, Zorion de Iruña. I have walked battlefields. My joy is in the lance, my skill is with the blade. My sire, not dissimilarly, forged me and taught me the lessons. I do not shy away from the edge of the blade. I do not shy away from fire or arrow.
But you chain your beast.
I am not my beast.
Indeed.
My beast is violence and death, and I am measured violence and death.
Zorion smiles wickedly at you. And Vion too is violence and death. Yet you do not chain him.
Of course
you put
I do.
reins on him. You put a saddle on him. Perhaps you might do the same to your beast.
I will not.
And why not?
Because I have seen what happens when it rides. And I do not like it.
Why not ride it? Frenzy could be a wave. The beast could be a mount unlike any other. From what I have seen from you, I do not think you would shy away from the challenge.
You said, Zorion, that when you committed these acts, that you felt horrified by what you had done.
I did.
Do you know what I felt when last my beast ran rampant?
I can imagine.
Revelress satisfaction. Joy in carnage and slaughter.
And any guilt?
None. Which is why I chain it in my heart.
But
My beast
but
is
that
not
sentiment,
me, and I will not allow it to run.
Why will you not allow it if you feel nothing but joy and revelry and no guilt? Why would you not let it run rampant?
Because a man can know joy and know that it is wrong.
Is that not guilt?
Roland looks huffy at that. Like, look, man, I'm having a hard night. I don't want to.
I'm feeling a lot of feelings, man.
My friend, you could be so much more.
What is it you wish me to be then, Zorion? What more do you see for me beyond the bringer of death?
Not the bringer of death.
That's what the beast is to me. That is what it does, it's what it wants.
Listen to me. It is a thing to be conquered and ridden. If any knight could do this thing, it is you. Bend it to your will. I cannot see any other reason my sire would put us together like this.
I had desperately hoped mine would be in attendance as well. I had so many things I needed to speak with him of. He has never met Saïv, and I was hoping he could give me insight into what to do.
This is Sir Lawrence.
So, as strong and capable a knight as I have ever met, and as intelligent, much like many of the elders of my clan, taken with matters of philosophy, of learning and academics. I'd wish to show to him, after years, what I have learned, and ask him once more for his wisdoms, but he is busy. Not that I begrudge him this. I too wish to sow the seeds of discord and cast those who wear crowns they do not deserve into the fires of hell. But I am here, at his behest. Perhaps to put a crown on one of you.
We shall put the crown on Catrinel, if anything. She has the bearing bred for it.
Do you think she has the temperament not to be a capricious ruler?
I think she will be a fearsome and terrible queen. She is vindictive and at times petulant, the same as Saïv. But I think that is tied to a sense of justice that runs deep in her bones.
Roland looks down from where they're standing at, like the assembled caravans. And her clanmate, the recently arrived Vikos. What do you know of him? I find the timing of his arrival just before we set out to meet with Radu.
Suspect.
At the very least.
I know that we should not underestimate Michael of Constantinople. And I certainly know that the Zemitsi are exactly what they want you to think
That they
you
are.
want. Which is a shame because I seem to like him quite a bit.
You seem a personable sort. But I must admit, I have somewhat of a natural suspicion of a smiling, pretty face, no matter who wears it.
You said you are somewhat learned.
I am. Perhaps not to your standards, but I have read quite a bit. And I have studied mathematics and philosophies and things.
That is plenty to my standard. You said you play chess as well.
I have pieces, but no board. It is hard to travel.
Well, I have both. They are stored away somewhere. Or we could simply scratch out a board on the stone here, and you could fetch your pieces.
If you have a proper board, I would love to join you for such. Dazzle me with your skill.
See if your mind is quite as sharp as your skills in the battlefield. Fetch your pieces.
Path of Night, War of Ages is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages podcast set in the world of darkness. Alexios is played by Tim Davis. Catrinel is played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Roland Roncevaux is played by Rob Muirhead. Sadhbh is played by Erika Webb. Zorion de Iruña is played by Garrett Gabbey. Your storyteller is Lex Lopez. The music used in this episode was Don't Look Back by DaniHaDani and Maya Belsitzman. Path of Night uses the 20th anniversary edition of Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade and the World of Darkness are owned by White Wolf and Paradox Interactive. Be sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you find your podcast. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/@pathofnight. You can help support the show at ko-fi.com/pathofnight. Look for us on social media at Path of Night Podcast, or email us at pathofnightpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time, K-Knights.
And that shows that you have something to rail with. Nope, that's way too Erika coded. Gotta redo that sentence.
Nope. Keep it.
Keep moving. You realize getting railed is getting into the podcast regardless.
No.
Right?
Do it, Rob. You know you want to.
Especially a reaction where you're like, no.
That's too Erika.
Just live it. It works for your character.
I saw how snippy you were in the notes about what my scene was going on.
Yeah, no, I deserve this. I'm not here to argue. To be clear, that wasn't snippy. That was appreciation.